Okay, this is the Nemaline Myopathy breakout room. Welcome. We're going to have some researcher talks in a minute. And I just wanted to welcome everybody and also say, I know this is a little bit of a different format, having it with all these other muscle diseases, but we always like to, and I think you guys know Mark Guillet's right here and his wife Dana with Foundation Building Strength. We like to try new things and, just see what are the benefits we can get, what are the drawbacks, and then we can reassess at the next conference. But I think we saw a lot of great things at the scientific meeting the other day where our NM researchers were presenting, and there were other researchers from other diseases that got to hear and comment and ask questions and give feedback. So they were really on their A game, and I think it was a really good thing. Mark and I were saying, like, this was great for our community and really will help push research forward. So we're going to have some research talks this morning, but the first thing about what it's like to live with Nemaline myopathy. So for Dr. Gupta and Dr. Beggs and some of the other researchers in the room, I'm just going to show a couple pictures and give you a little quick window into our life. You can see the families here. So you're doing your research in your lab, and this will help you understand a little bit more about what it's like to live with Nemaline. And so, okay, so I wanted to start with this slide first because my daughter's a huge Stranger Things fan. Oh, and I apologize, by the way, for those of you who don't know me, my name's Patty Mitchell, and I have a 13-year-old daughter with Nemaline myopathy named Kate. She looks just like me, but she's running around in a blue scooter, so if you see her, just say hi. So this first slide, Kate really wanted me to put this one up because she's a huge Stranger Things fan, but I liked it because it said, "One summer can change everything." And so we're sort of looking at this as our unofficial motto for this conference. And we've been having a lot of talks about what can we do differently, how can we bring about change faster. Oh, and I see a whole bunch of researchers here in the front line, so great talks yesterday. Okay, so we're sort of hoping this is our unofficial slogan. It takes place in a small town in the Midwest. So I know Chicago's not a small town, but many of us here are from small towns. Okay. So we're going to start out. There's two views of life with NM. The first is the parent view, and the second is the affected child or adult view. So in this first view, this was me, Mark, when we met, and Dana, about 10 years ago. You had started the foundation. It was right around our first conference. My daughter had just gotten her diagnosis. And so we were just starting out on our NM journey. And this is a parent after 10 years with NM. Okay, so we're tired, we've had to push back on a lot of doctors, we're balancing a lot of things in life. So maybe this doesn't exactly look like me, but I think all the NM parents in the room know that it really does take a big toll on our families. And just to talk a little bit, I don't like to always talk about what's hard. I like to stay positive and talk about the good things, but I did want to tell you a little bit about, for myself personally, I've had issues with extreme worry about my daughter's future. Wondering, is she going to be around in 20 years? But, the truth is I might not be around in 20 years, but it's very humbling. There's some humbling moments when I see her not able to do a lot of the things that other kids can very easily do. I'll go to my sister's house and she'll tell her daughter, who's my daughter's same age, "Oh, go take a shower and come on down." That is like a half-day event in our house, So just to help the researchers understand a little bit, it also takes a big toll on our families financially, because while insurance will cover some things, there's a lot of things our kids need that we have to pay for ourselves. Plus, we can't have big jobs, usually with a lot of travel, because we have to be there. So I know for myself, I actually help my daughter with her bed mobility every night. So I wake up between 5 and 7 times every night to roll her and move her from side to side. So traveling away from her for more than a couple days, there are family members that can help, but I'm usually the only one that can do that kind of a commitment. So from a parent point of view, it's a very difficult and challenging disease. So now we'll move on to the affected adult point of view. So these were first just some pictures of Kate. When she was younger, she could stand and she could walk a little bit. And as a baby, I knew something was going on, but you know, I bring her places and nobody else really knew something was going on. Her NM wasn't as apparent. And then this slide is the harder slide, okay? So the first in the middle was we had a scoliosis surgery 2 years ago. Her curve had gotten to, I think the bottom one is like top one is like 70 and the bottom one's around 80. Dr. Marjeko, who's going to be talking later, he's our ortho, he did the correction and it's been amazing. But this was huge. It's frankly scared the heck out of me as a parent and our whole family. And I know Kate was very scared, and just bringing her there and the tears, it's hard. It's very hard. This is her afterwards recovering in her little turtle with her BiPAP on. That was the first time I ever saw her intubated, and I did not take that picture. It was when she was 2. We spent 2 months in the ICU. It was like my ICU boot camp. And people were, at the end of the 2 months, asking me if I worked there, because I knew where the hot towels were, I knew all the nurses' names. But she spent her 2nd birthday in the hospital, intubated. At that time, they did tell us that she needed a trach, but we blew her lungs open in another way, because her lungs had collapsed and they weren't opening. We found a way to open them up, and through BiPAP, someone gave us a BiPAP, we were able to just use nighttime ventilation. Although she was on the BiPAP for 2 months straight, 24/7 when we got home. I think that up there is the morphine. You know, they put morphine under lock and key when you have spinal fusion, because you have so many. I think we even had a higher drug before that. We had fentanyl. I mean, it's a pretty heavy duty thing. There you can see when she was losing her ability to walk, we tried everything, every kind of brace and prop, and she would do it and have a smile for a little while, and then she'd say, "Am I done? Can I stop? Can I just be myself and be a regular kid and put me in my scooter?" So I think it's a little window into our lives. You know, we try to make the most of every day. We're happy people, we're positive people, but it's a very challenging disease, and we are really counting on the researchers in this room to help us. This is where we're not the experts. We don't know what can we do next. What are the concrete next steps? Like, we heard so many promising things the other day, and we're really excited because we were around 10 years ago when there weren't any promising things. But I think we're a little fuzzy on, like, okay, what's our next step? What are our priorities? And we're starting to put those together, but we really want to develop a close relationship with all of you, because we're seeing multiple paths that could hit, and we want to try them all. You know, we want to give us every opportunity, and some of them might peter out, but we're hoping that one of them will go the distance. And so that's where I know Liv, I don't know if Liv's in this room now, but her family really likes Star Wars. So I was thinking, you know, the researchers, we have this small group, but they're committed and they're dedicated, just like the Star Wars team. And they took down the Death Star. So, you know, we can do it. And I know it's a movie, but there's new stories every day in the news about people who overcome great obstacles and they achieve something that anyone would have thought was impossible. And that's kind of, I think, the attitude that we have in this room. But, you know, Star Wars, they had the invisible guiding force, right, that helped them. And so for those of you who know me, I'm spiritual, and so I thought the best way to end was just with a quick prayer. And for those of you who are non-believers, you know, just hang on for a moment. But I'm going to ask God to please bless everyone in this room, parents and researchers, and to please hear our request that you intervene and help our families to take care of their children and help our researchers to do their best work, and know that there are hundreds of kids that are out there, some who are here and some who haven't made it. And the families, we see those faces every day on Facebook too. And we feel the heartbreak of those families and the fear of our own worry of possibly losing our own family member. So we're trusting you, God, and we know in your mercy and power that you will come and you will help our situation and help us be strong and be successful. With that, amen, and thank you for this talk. Okay, so I don't know, Mark, do you want to say a few words before we introduce the researchers? You got it, Stace? Does everybody know Stacy? Maybe she can introduce herself a little bit.